everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name is Mike and this is the Nexo Tank 2017 Knighton castle. We have built this guy during a live stream, so you can check some links below if you want to see the recording, but for this video we're gonna get into a short time lapse and also a review. And that is the completed Knighton castle, the biggest set in the Next Knight's summer 2017 second wave. Well, massive castle of course, and kind of reminds me, well, hits those nostalgia notes for the classic castle sets. The colors look of course sci-fi as for the Next Knights, but most of it, all those turrets and cool walls, do remind me of the old school castles. We have a lot of stuff happening here, a lot of Brickster monsters. My favorites in the Next Knights, those Thunder Dim lines, crazy looking creature vehicles, some Nexo Knights powers as well with the Merlok bot. There is the Nexo Knights small tank and a number of minifigs. But first off, we're gonna check all the cool features that the castle has to offer. First off, let's admit it's a castle. That being said, we have a lot of defensive features here. Not only the walls look greatly reinforced by using those pieces, which just, I think, make up for those, finishing touches on these massive castle walls. Then we have a number of opening spots for the weaponry, like this one and this one over here on the other side. And also things like that happen on both sides of the castle as well. So you can pretty much stick a massive caliber weapon through that. There is a number of cool rooms in the back that I'm gonna go through in a few more seconds, and just wanted to show you the general look of it, plus the color combination, which I think is great. The light blue and the dark blue plus orange and transparent orange make up for, well, somewhat of a sci-fi look, but the general shaping of the castle looks just exactly like I would expect from a castle of this magnitude. Well, the nostalgia notes are there, kind of reminds me of the classic castle. Like, look at those towers, those look just as you would want them to look in a proper castle. Well, that's pretty cool, but let's check what's inside. And by inside I mean that the castle does open up, so you can just lift one small lock here and then you can unveil the whole thing in somewhat of a half-open fashion. So there is the courtyard right here, a lot of play features, well, maybe not a lot of play features, but a lot of area to play in to defend your Next Knight's castle. There is the Nexo gun in the middle with 3 combined powers. That's a very common piece, along the Nexo Knights lines. We have some stuff here too. There is a computer in the corner for some maybe targeting purposes or things like that. Things happen also at the side of those walls. You have some tools of trade here, some shovel and some broomstick. Nothing too special. You can see that walls have some weaponry on them. So right next to lance there is somewhat of a crossbow turret. You can see it here. There is one on the other side as well, if I just can move it real quick, just next to this white lady. So there is one here too, though move, so you can actually, well, target your enemies. Oh, just popped one off. But that's fine, that's totally fine. It's super easy to reassemble. And nothing much else to do in the courtyard. You can see the king is having overlook on the entire realm of his, but the majority of things is actually happening in the back, and that's where we're gonna jump right now. The back of the castle is, as usual in such sets, it's a cross section, so that means we have like half of rooms to access for the play features. We have 4 rooms in total, and the throne room, which is corresponding with the courtyard as you've seen in the previous shot, Then starting on this side, we have the Armory with rack of weapons. That's a cool one. So a selection of weapons is available immediately for you in this set. There is a dark gray metal armor piece that you can maybe swap on one of the guards or one of the next knights for training purposes. So that's a simple room, but looks pretty cool. You can see that there is a crossover through, there is a small balcony, a crossover through the room towards the courtyard. So that's a cool detail to just make you know, some cool stuff for the room design. Just next to it there is the mentioned throne room, and this piece here can be lifted, and now you have pretty much easy access to the throne with the king right here. It only sits on this red plate there, and there is very easy way to put it back on. Just push it in and there you go, the king is back in his throne room. To the right on the upper floor there is a dining room. You can see 2 glasses and a wine bottle sitting there, also with a beautiful view from the balcony towards the courtyard. That's a very nice looking thing. You can see the back of Lance in the background just defending the castle, as anyone who's in the dining room can just be having a nice time having the supper. Well, nothing special here, just 2 seats and a wooden table. Moving slightly back towards the throne room, we have the ladder to go to the lower level, and just next to it there is the royal bedroom. I think that's what it is. There is a double bed, and that must be the king's one, and there is a hot dog on this one. I'm not sure what the reason is for this one. There is also a red bed just next to it, and you can see in the shadows there is a the everlasting red mug just lurking there, waiting to be drunk from, I guess. Well, just next to it there is also a small room for maybe the astronomer. I'm not sure if you can see because of the light here, but there is a small sort of a telescope or just a weapon. Let me just take it off for you for a second. That is an actual shotgun piece that we have seen in, for example, the Lego Batman movie sets, but this one comes in white. I'm not sure what this thing is. Maybe you guys know more because of the show, but there is a small space for it. There is a computer and also a bed that maybe even Merlin's or Merlok's thing to work in. Now, if you move to the last room towards the right, there is the main knight's bedroom, and this is nothing much beyond 4 beds. We have beds in different colors. The colors are matching the characters, so there is Lance's bed in white, there is Clay's bed in blue, there is also a green bed, that's Aaron's, and the black one is probably Robin's, the young knight. Only thing here that is standing out is the white mug this time, and there is even a cell phone on one of the beds, something that's always, for me, at least for me, out of place in such sets. The upper section here is holding 2 towers, the defensive towers. Those are also pretty awesome. There is a shield in the back of each, so you can move it up and down a bit. There is a sticker on it. So there is a nice overlook on the entire castle and the adjacent grounds. This thing in the middle is the actual next knight's shuttle that I'm gonna show you in a second. And a second tower on this side is pretty much just the mirror image or mirror build for the first one. So the castle is very symmetrical. Every single part of it, every single wall is symmetrically built. Just the interiors are somewhat different, but all things do match up with left to right side. But let's check out this pointy thing here. That is what I call the next knight's shuttle. It's actual ship. You can just take it off. It's held in place by just few simple studs. So the thing here is that you have to be quite careful not to knock it off as you carry the castle, because this thing fell on me a number of times and I had to rebuild it at least twice, so be careful with that. The funny thing here is that the shuttle itself looks like something that I would take out from the Ice Planet theme, the famous Ice Planet, one of my favorite space themes from back in the days. Well, maybe the thing is that those canopies in this bright orange and the pointy curves and corners kinda look like exact pieces from that theme, but the shuttle is actually pretty cool on its own. It's a full let's say airliner, because you can just pop this thing open and then you see that there is space for at least 4 guys inside. It's a full passenger shuttle. There is a very simple cockpit with only 2 levers, and everything opens up so wide that you can easily include a lot of guys inside and the equipment. I think that was a surprise actually when I was building this set, because I was thinking that this was just a tower towering the castle, but it is a full-grown jet for transport purposes. You can also change a bit of a shape of it, so those wings do fold in on those connection pieces, and you can pretty much achieve different looks if you want to. The thing here is that you can see that I just knocked off the engines. It's not very sturdy, so connected with the fact that I dropped it a few times from the top of the castle because it wasn't holding so well, I was also having to rebuild it a number of times because of a few pieces that just keep being knocked off. Otherwise, I like this guy a lot. I think that's one of the best parts of the castle, and I couldn't really complain because, well, the looks are there. The sturdiness can be better, but it's still quite good, and it doesn't really prevent you from having a fun with this thing. As we are in the vehicles section, this is the Nexo Tank, part of the castle. That's a small Next Knight's vehicle. Looks sporty with those big wheels and a very low suspension. I like this guy actually. And there is also this canopy piece that also reminds me of the Ice Planet with the design. The cockpit is somewhat lacking, nothing else beyond two small tiles with prints. No levers, no driving wheel, nothing else in there, but plenty of space to fit even a fully packed Nexo Knight. Some lights in the front, also two stud shooters, and this guy comes with a function that is inside the castle. If you push this lever here, you can just shoot this guy, pretty much launch it into action. That's the only actual moving function of the entire castle, except for the opening function, and I think it works pretty well. This is a vehicle I like better because of how ridiculous it looks. I mean, well, to describe it, this is just a massive mouth with cage in it, and that's the stone monster with thunder fists. Whatever that thing is, it looks ridiculous. It's a small moving tank on a set of 6 wheels, cage in the back, and at top of it is somewhat of a defensive or siege turret with Nexo Forbidden Power. On top of it, a place for the minifigs, and also 2 small catapults that you can launch small barrels with. Well, this is pretty much in line with all the other crazy Nexo Knights vehicles on the bad guys side, and this guy is maybe 10 out of 10 in terms of being ridiculous. The set also comes with this guy, that's Merlok the bot. It's the, well, mechanized version of copy of Merlin in Nexo Knights. The cool thing about him is that he comes with a print, a tile, 2x2 tile with his face, and that looks just like Master Wu for me. Well, that was my first impression when I saw this. I like this style a lot, and overall it goes well with his studless build of this orange and transparent orange and gray and silver pieces. His weapon is some sort of a staff, and it's actually connected through a Technic joint to his arm, so there is no way he's gonna lose it. You have to, well, push something to disconnect it from his arm. Kind of a cool guy, and we get him in the set, so one of the best parts. I think if we count him as a vehicle, he's one of the best vehicles, if not the best one, that we receive. This set is super heavy in characters. We have 9 minifigures, 2 buildable monsters, and a pig named Hamlera. That's a lot of stuff happening for one set, and I think we should start the review with King Halbert. First off, he has a great beard. I like this part a lot. That's a rubbery piece, and it goes along well with his hair mold for crown and hair together in one piece. Great looking thing. Also, the print for the torso is pretty fun, but the face, if you look at it, it doesn't look as noble as the king with the beard. So face is fun, but the guy looks much better in his full form. Also comes with a cape. That's the thick cloth cape, and a chalice for his king drinks. Here is Sir Robin, or just Robin, a young knight in his special print for the torso. I like this a lot. The head is that of a boy's. You can see this head in a number of times in other sets. Also, same goes for the hairpiece. This guy doesn't come with any accessories. I like him, but he's not that special. Here is the first Nexo Knight, Aaron. He comes with a massive shield with one of his Nexo powers. Also, somewhat of a mechanical crossbow, or kind of a weapon for his. There is an armor piece and 2 face expressions. Those are very expressive ones, and I think this is what you can say about most of the Nexo Knight's heads. This guy is likable, but I'm not sure if he's really exclusive. This is a Lance, or Sir Lance-a-Lot. I know this joke is gonna get old pretty soon, but that's what I call him. He has his white lance, it's a buildable one. Also shield with a Nexo power, and a classic white helmet, that is the most classic helmet you probably see in all LEGO sets, plus his visor comes in bright transparent orange. Also two face expressions, very expressive ones, same as with Aaron. And this little guy is, I think, my favorite of all in this set. That is a bot named, be careful, Fancy Pants. That's his actual name, and he has some cool stuff happening, two face expressions that work great for this type of guy. Also a hair mold that is looks like a wig from the French aristocracy era. I think that's the best description for this. Also a small 1x1 tile with a special print for his butler servant outfit, and general parts that are seen in other Next Knight sets to create those bots. But this guy is so unique, I think he's gonna still remain my favorite. This minifig here is called the White Stone statue. It's also quite unique, but I prefer to call her the ghost of the queen. I think that is a wife to the king in her ghost form, and she's quite a menace because she comes with two face expression. The second one saying that it's not a friendly ghost. Unique minifig with a nice weapon for a dagger, and it kind of reminds me of those European legends for a white mistress lurking or haunting old castles, especially in Poland, my country of birth. This is a common legend to go with every ancient castle, and she just rings that bell very, very loud. This guy here is the Kingsguard, also unique minifig to this set at least. There is the transparent orange armor for him, also nice print for both back and front of the torso, two-face expressions on a special silver head, and a helmet that we've seen previously in a number of Knights sets. This is a cool guy, and he doesn't come with accessory at least, but you have a full armory in the set, so you can armor him with anything you want. The bad guys come in form of two stone stompers, and those guys are quite often visible in other Next Knights sets. Those come in this set with two different prints for their torsos and legs. The heads are the same goes for their molds for the helmets, the stone helmets. One of them also comes with a shoulder armor, and the weapons of their choice is a spear and a massive axe. Nothing too special here, but I still think those are one of the best minifigs we ever got in Next Knight's line. And those two guys are not technically minifigs, but I count them as characters in this set. Those are the Bricksters, and they're on the bad guys side, but I'm not really sure their face expressions look so cartoony and so funny that I'm not sure they can do any harm. Those are just massive blocks of stone with some crazy weapons and hands sticking out. I'm not really sure how the fat guy is actually fighting the knights with being, well, a fat stone guy. The other guy may be much better than at that because he looks like a pole with a crossbow, so he may be having some ranged attack capabilities. Well, I like those guys a lot. Remember, those are prints, not stickers, so some quite unique pieces used here. And also, to finish this off, we have a mold for the pig, and her name is Hamlera. That's the perfect name for a pig that is part of a medieval themed set, don't you think? Anyway, I like her a lot. I'm not sure if we got her anywhere else, but I would really like to see her in more sets. That is such a good mold. The Knighton Castle is kind of a big set for Next Knights, finally something we can really relate to, because I was a fan of the old castles back in the days, and I think this thing just hits the mark in so many proper ways that it is a very likable set. As much as I was laughing at all the other Next Knights sets, well, maybe not all the other, but most of them, for being just way too ridiculous for what they are, this thing is more of a serious note, well, maybe except for that bad guy's stone vehicle, that's an exception, but everything else looks like a proper castle set. Just think of it as swapping those colors from blue to gray and maybe from orange to some white or black would be just enough to turn this into an actual old school medieval castle, I think. That's how good it is, and I really enjoyed building it and having that review for you guys. Alright, and that is it for this massive Next Knight set review. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and also be sure to check out our other videos that's gonna be popping up somewhere here close to my head. I hope you're gonna enjoy them as well. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Mike, and I'll see you again on BrickVault.